Now at 10, the charges against former President Donald Trump in the classified files case are fueling a bitter partisan fight in Congress. Tonight, the Justice Department is pushing back against claims by some Republicans who say the charges are politically motivated.
But it's not the first time we've heard those claims, and certainly won't be the last. Our John Fenoglio joins us live in studio with Who's Saying What. Hi, John.
Court Pedro, that's right. You could see this coming all along. Former President Trump has always said that the charges against him represent a two-tiered system of justice. But legal experts say otherwise, and his own former vice president says he can't defend Mr. Trump's alleged crimes. Tonight, Attorney General Merrick Garland is defending the integrity of Special Counsel Jack Smith, who brought the 37-count felony indictment against former President Trump.
When I appointed Mr. Smith, I did so because it underscores the Justice Department's commitment to both independence and accountability.
The prosecutor in the case, I will call it our case, is a thug.
Mr. Trump pleaded not guilty Tuesday to charges that he mishandled top-secret government files and later forcefully defended himself before a crowd at his New Jersey golf resort, falsely claiming he was allowed to take classified materials after his presidency.
Whatever documents the president decides to take with him, he has the right to do so. It's an absolute right.
Classified materials, including nuclear programs and potential military vulnerabilities of the U.S. and its allies.
No, that's not the law. When it comes to classified documents, when it comes to documents dealing with highly sensitive military information, nuclear weapons, our allies' military capabilities, that is not the type of document that a president can own. That is our document. That's a government document.
This as Mr. Trump and his defenders in Congress continue to claim the indictment is politically motivated and reveals a double standard.
You can't have the Department of Justice going after and indicting the former president because of how he handled classified documents, but ignoring the current president.
But the Justice Department is investigating President Biden and former Vice President Mike Pence's handling of classified documents. However, there is no evidence either of them are refusing to cooperate with investigators. Pence, who is running against Mr. Trump for president, speaking out against his former boss, while echoing some of his supporters.
It jeopardizes our national security. It puts at risk the men and women of our armed forces. And as I said, I can't defend what is alleged, but the former president has a right to his day in court.
The difference between the cases of Vice President Pence, President Biden, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, there was no intent to try and deprive the federal government of getting those documents back. That's what we have when it comes to the former president. And that's why you see the obstruction of justice charges, that portion of the Espionage Act that deals with unlawfully retaining and disseminating information.
All right, so the big question now is what's next? Florida courts usually give both sides at least 2 weeks to exchange relevant evidence, but legal experts say the gravity of this case means it could take a lot longer. The Trump team is also expected to raise several legal challenges, so bottom line, we don't know yet when exactly the trial will start, but of course, we'll let you do once we know. Back to you.
John, thank you.